There was a short period while I was in high school that still gave me the chills. I remember it like it was yesterday. Everything seemed so normal, and then something changed. Days went by, and I began to have trouble sleeping. My room was in the basement, and it was already a little eerie. The whole floor was away from an exterior entrance that could allow anyone to break in, possibly unbeknownst to my family. I woke up in a panic one night. A sound had awoken me. I lay still, trying not to breathe, and listened to the sound that had broken my sleep. Suddenly, I heard it, a quiet, evil-sounding laugh. I closed my eyes tightly, telling myself I had imagined it. But I heard it again, an eerily childlike laugh that sounded very nearby. I convinced myself that I was just half asleep and was finally able to doze off. When I woke up the next morning, it seemed like a dream, and I had brushed it off. Days later, I had woken up again in the middle of the night by a loud crash in my room. I jumped awake, panicked and breathing heavily. I peered into the darkness, wondering what could have possibly made that sound. Suddenly, I heard the laughter again. This time it seemed to be coming across the room. I listened closely. I heard another sound, even more bone-chilling than the laughter. Footsteps, small and quick, but very distant. I jumped from my bed and flipped on the light switch. As the light hit my eyes, I squinted and peered around the room. That's when I noticed what had made the sound that had woken me. On my desk, I had a set of jar filled with pencils, and it had been tipped over. The pencils were strewn all over the desk. It was a heavy jar. It could not have fallen over without being touched. I grabbed the pillow from my bed and bolted out of my room and up the stairs. Something was happening in that room. As I nestled into the couch outside my parents' bedroom, I felt much safer and at ease. I began replaying the events of the past few nights and trying to come up with a logical explanation. But suddenly, it hit me. The only variable factor that could have caused the things to happen. Days prior, I had invited my boyfriend over on New Year's Eve. Moments before he had arrived, I realized my magic attic club doll, Rose, was sitting in plain sight in my room. I hastily tossed her under the bed so she wouldn't be seen. We rang the New Year's, and I didn't give it another thought to the doll under my bed. The doll under my bed. Could it possibly be? The next day I found Rose lying underneath my bed, but something seemed odd. She was lying on her side and almost seemed to be looking at me when I knelt down. I quickly removed her and placed her back on the shelf where she had been previously lived. I slept soundly that night, and every night after that. As terrifying as it is to admit or believe, I didn't find it to be a coincidence. Everyone has that toy at some point in their lives they imagine are alive. But what if they really are?